welcome to Make in India, New Deal for Defence. I'm Shireen Bhan. It might seem strange to you that we're talking about Make in India, but we're coming to you from China, the factory of the world. Now, one of the areas where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very keen to attract investment is the defence sector. This is opening up as a big area of opportunity with both domestic private sector manufacturers as well as world manufacturers in the defence space looking at India. It's unlikely that we will see investments from this part of the world come into India because defence carries with it legacy issues, it's complex and of course tied very closely to India's national security. Now, talking about the private sector entrepreneurial enthusiasm and zeal in India for the defence space, the TATA Group has had ambitions to become a household name in the aviation and aerospace sectors for decades now. To further those aspirations, the group set up TATA Advanced Systems in 2008. This 8-year-old company has emerged as one of the leading private sector players in the field of aerospace, defence and homeland security. In the first interview to a television channel, TATA Advanced Systems allowed CNBC TV 18 Sajit Mangat exclusive access to its aerospace special economic zones and its aircraft manufacturing facilities. Here's a look at the magic as it happens.
TATA Advanced Systems. It's only 8 years old, but this wholly owned subsidiary of Tata Sons has made a name for itself as one of the leading players in the global aerospace market. And it's done this with panache, which its facilities are a testament to.
We are at Tata Advanced Systems facility in Hyderabad. This is one of the biggest aerospace facility in the private sector.
Spread over 50 acres, Tata Advanced Systems has gradually built up its design capabilities at this special economic zone and today carries out full aircraft assembly. Sukaran Singh, the company's MD and CEO, explains how aviation has always been of key interest to the Tata Group. He describes how this facility is the brainchild of business legend Ratan Tata.
The Tatas consider aerospace and defence as a very strategic sector, and around 8 years ago, Mr. Tata, who was the chairman at the time, thought that there should be a company that is dedicated to defence and aerospace in the group. So Tata Advanced Systems was created, and since then we have become now probably one of the largest private sector aerospace and defence companies in India, largely based on exports, which was actually a very specific strategy that we adopted.
Now, defence does not currently contribute much to the Tata Group's consolidated top line, but there is no doubt that this is set to change soon. Proof that the group is serious about the defence sector lies in the fact that over a dozen of its companies are engaged in various defence-related deals. And surprise, surprise, half of these are subsidiaries of Tata Advanced Systems.
Within Tata Advanced Systems, all our subsidiaries and Tata Advanced System itself has, from the Tata side, the same board members. So we are completely integrated in our overall strategy, and so I think in that respect it's a healthy aerospace and defence strategy that the group is following.
Aerospace is the company's biggest business vertical. While it was initially set up to cater to global OEMs in the aerospace segment and went on to bat with only export orders in hand, it today has a presence in no less than 7 distinct defence segments: aerospace, missiles, radars, unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs, command and control systems, optronics and homeland security.
We have 7 areas in Tata Advanced Systems. Aerospace, which is both helicopters and fixed wing. Then next is unmanned systems. A third area is missiles, and a fourth area is radars. These are the 4 platforms that we wish to produce in India out from Tata Advanced Systems. Then we have 2 horizontal areas, if I could call it that: command and control and communication, and another one, optronics. Those are 6 areas, and the 7th is we have a joint venture in homeland security for large infrastructure projects.
Opportunities abound and ambition is not lacking either, but the company's biggest challenge over the years came in finding skilled manpower. Not surprising, considering India did not have the capability to build aircrafts. So Tata Advanced Systems went about changing this reality. It started its own skill development program. Here's how that works. It recruits candidates from industrial training institutes or ITIs, trains them at its training center, and even sends them overseas for advanced training in aerospace engineering. Every year, 40 technicians from ITIs find employment with Tata Advanced Systems in its aerospace division alone. And its staff strength today stands at over 1,800 spread across Hyderabad and Delhi. These numbers are justified given that Tata Advanced Systems is growing at a spanking pace. Its revenues on a consolidated basis nearly doubled to 720 crore rupees last fiscal. And the company is hungry for more. So if over the last 5 years it has built 110 fuselages for Sikorsky's S-92 and 25 empennages for Lockheed Martin's C-130J aircraft, it now wants to manufacture that same number in just half the time.
We believe that we will be making big parts, not small parts, but big parts of close to 100 aircraft per year between 5 different OEMs out of these facilities in the next 2 or 3 years. So some new projects, as I mentioned, have just started. So, but when it hits its peak, which I think it will in the next 24 to 36 months, we would be actually producing around big structural parts for around 100 odd aircraft. Our capacity is to make twice that.
It's not surprising that aerospace structures is one of its biggest divisions.
We are in Tata Advanced Systems helicopter facility for Sikorsky. This facility churns out 40 to 50 fuselages in a year.
Tata Advanced Systems is a single source fuselage supplier to Sikorsky for its S-92 helicopters.
We were able to negotiate an export-based order, long-term tenure order with Sikorsky Helicopters, which is one of the largest helicopter companies in the world based in the United States, to build the complete fuselage for one of their key helicopter platforms called the S-92.
S-92 helicopters are used globally to transport VVIPs and heads of state. They will soon part form of the squadron that will transport the US President's team. For Tata Advanced Systems, Sikorsky has proven to be a godsend. The Sikorsky deal was so successful that Sikorsky entered into a JV with Tata Advanced Systems, where Sikorsky owns 26%. This Tata-Sikorsky JV manufactures detailed parts of the helicopter. The JV also gave Tata Advanced Systems the capability to enter the world of designing and engineering aerospace structures. Today, it not only provides all the detailed parts required for building the fuselage of S-92 helicopters, it also allows Tata Advanced Systems to extend its capability to upstream manufacturing.
When we talk about the fabrication parts, we have actually expanded that operation also to go beyond aerostructure parts that go into aircraft and helicopters. We have now expanded it into 2 different areas. One is to make parts for engines, and especially with Rolls-Royce. And another one is we've expanded into making parts for missiles, where we are right now producing parts for our local Indian programs such as DRDOs.
Sikorsky was just the beginning for Tata Advanced Systems. Its capabilities received a fillip when it formed a joint venture with US-based Lockheed Martin. The move required the company to set up one of the largest assembly facilities in the country.
We are at the assembly facility of Tata Lockheed joint venture. What you see behind me is the empennage of the Super Hercules.
For all you non-engineering folks out there, this simply means it puts together the vertical and horizontal tail wings and the center wing box for the Super Hercules aircraft, or the C-130J as its familiars call it. This is no mean achievement. Remember, the Super Hercules is today considered an integral part of any armed force in the world and is used to transport both man and machine. This facility, which can manufacture up to 24 empennages in a year, establishes Tata Advanced Systems as a single source supplier for Lockheed Martin. And interestingly, it all came about after Tata Advanced Systems stole the contract away from an American company who had held the supply contract with Lockheed Martin for, wait for it, 50 years.
Tata Advanced Systems Lockheed Martin joint venture produces the empennage as well as parts of the fuselage for the C-130. It was being done for the last, I believe, 50 odd years, half a century, by a company called Watt in the United States. And it is now being done as a single source out from India, from Tata Advanced Systems, and exported back to the United States.
The experience it has gained from supply agreements with Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin have helped Tata Advanced Systems move on to greener pastures, building complete aircraft from scratch.
I am standing in Tata Advanced Systems civilian aircraft facility. This facility rolls out aircraft structures for RUAG's Dornier.
This was born from a tie-up with Switzerland-based RUAG to manufacture the fuselage and wings for the Dornier 228 aircraft, which is also used by the Indian Coast Guard for rescue operations. The first aircraft from this facility is expected to roll out by September this year. Tata Advanced Systems also has a tie-up with Swiss aircraft OEM Pilatus for the assembly of business jets. For this, it has set up a new facility within the Hyderabad Aerospace SEZ itself. The first phase of this project, which entails the design and manufacture of wings, is now online. Tata Advanced Systems engineers and technicians are also in the process of being trained at the Pilatus facility in Switzerland, and they should be able to get the first green aircraft from this facility airborne by the middle of 2016.
We have embarked on 2 new projects this year, and both these projects are unique in the private sector in as much as they will allow India, specifically Tata Advanced Systems, to produce full aircraft for export worth Swiss quality, because these are being exported to Pilatus. What the aircraft is called PC-12, which is a business jet, and another one is the Dornier 228 new generation aircraft to RUAG, both in Switzerland.
But hold on, it's not just aircraft that Tata Advanced Systems is building. It has roped in Cobham to manufacture mid-air refueling pods which see extensive use by fighter jets, begun a relationship with Royce to manufacture engine parts suitable for the aerospace industry, and has a partnership with Boeing for second source contract manufacturing of parts for commercial airliners. Over the last 2 years, enabled by its manufacturing capabilities, Tata Advanced Systems has been bidding for full-fledged aerospace platforms in partnership with global OEMs. It is also used in the running for contracts to replace the Chetak and Cheetah helicopters used by the Indian Armed Forces. In addition, it has tied up with Airbus Defence to bid for India's AVRO project. This project entails the manufacture of 56 transport aircraft for the Indian Air Force in flyaway conditions. There are reports that this project may be expanded by another 6 aircraft based on the Coast Guard's requirement. The entire deal, which involves buying some aircraft off the shelf and building the rest in India, is valued at around 15,000 crore rupees.
We have partnered with Airbus to make the AVRO replacement project in India, where should the process move forward, it will be Tata Advanced Systems that will make the full aircraft in a condition that can fly away from our own facilities in India.
If the AVRO project fructifies, it will require significant capital investment, since Tata Advanced Systems will have to set up an even bigger facility, one that comes with an airstrip attached to it. But the company is confident about its prospects. Its biggest strength, it says, is that it has kept pace with changes in the global aerospace environment when it comes to technology. For instance, as the global aircraft industry moved away from aluminium to titanium, so did Tata Advanced Systems. Its facility can not only manufacture titanium aerostructures, it can also reverse engineer any part or product used in the field of aerospace.
India has many lessons to learn from China's experience with special economic zones. Tata Advanced Systems may be all systems go when it comes to aerospace, but its interests are varied and its ambitions are numerous. After a short break, we'll take a look at some of those other aspirations, especially those centered around the emerging areas of defense.